when I see Leann just standing up there eating, I said, oh, Leann is going home tonight, okay? Now, she might could have got saved after she didn't have no compassion for Marie, but when I saw her standing up there eating and not mingling, I said, she going home tonight. Because the ones that just be sitting up there eating and not mingling, they always go home. That's just how it is on the Ready to Love. We don't got time to eat. We trying to find love, people. So anyway. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brenda Yvonne channel. Of course, y'all know I'm your girl, Brenda Yvonne. Here at my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. Y'all, it's Friday night. Y'all already know we got to talk about OWN's Ready to Love, y'all. We are on season 8. Can y'all believe it? Season 8. This is episode 1, Bigger in Texas. So, you know, we are in Dallas now. So we're going to get 2 Dallas seasons because that's how they usually do, 2 seasons in 1 city. Okay, so let's just get into the review, y'all. So also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you are a Ready to Love fan, you must subscribe to this channel. I have been reviewing Ready to Love since, I think, the DC season, but I've been watching since Atlanta and Houston, I think. Anyway, like I said, if you're a Ready to Love fan, you're going to want to go back and watch some of the old reviews. You're going to want to keep up with this season, so hit that subscribe button. Now, for the mixer episode, you know, I always rant that they don't do the little special anymore where Will Packer and Tommy sit down and introduce us to all the singles. You know, I always rant about that every season. I'm ranting again. We got a little bit on each person, but not even each person. We got a little bit on some of the people, actually, not everybody. We didn't get a little something on Red. That Cairo girl, Kaya, whatever her name is, I had to look her name up because they barely said her name. They just kept saying the girl in the white boots. So some people we didn't really get to know like that. But anyway, we got a little introduction. I'm sure we'll get more as it goes by. So how I like to do the mixers is I'm not going to go scene by scene. I'm just going to talk about the main conversations and highlights and little nuggets and drama that we got. No particular order, just follow along with me on the ride. Then we're gonna get to eliminations and why those people were in the bottom 2. It was very, very obvious reasons this time around. I still think they should not eliminate people on the very first day though, but you know, it kind of makes it entertaining as well. I feel like Ready to Love had like a little good rejuvenation. Do y'all agree? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, I'm ready to get back into the mess of Ready to Love. Like, I'm ready for it. Are y'all ready to love? All right, so let's get into the review. Okay, so like I said, I get down to the mansion mixer. You know, we're not in Miami, so we're not doing a pool party, okay? So Chris came first. Chris is 39. I don't know if they said what he do. He cute, though. I think Jess or Eureka came next. Y'all know it's gonna take me a minute to learn all these names, and some of them have some interesting names. Taquilla, and I kept wanting to call that girl Tequila, but anywho, okay, so everybody's coming. Philip came. He talking about Jess's toes. Talking about, oh, your toes look good. She's like, not the toes. And I said the same thing, not the toes. Let's see. We had Marie, a tall girl with a black platinum haircut. I think her name was Sierra. She definitely reminded me of Sabrina from DC. Okay, the haircut, obviously. Okay, so everybody's mixing and mingling, you know, having a good time. Who else did we have? Quentin, somebody named Lee, Herbert, which is an old name. Every time I hear the name Herbert, I think of my grandma because she got a good story about a man named Herbert. Okay, and I'll tell that story another time. But anyway, but yeah, that was pretty much all the people they had. I mean, there was other people, we'll get to them. Okay, nephew Tommy came out at some point. He told them, you know, y'all do everything bigger in Texas. Y'all got it, you know, popping out here. Y'all got the houses, the cars, and all that. But, you know, really, you know, examine everybody, get to know everybody. And Janelle says she happy to see Tommy here to guide them. I guess, girl. He more there for comedic relief, but sure. He be having some nuggets when he want to, though, don't he? So anyway, he said, you know, don't just try to, you know, open your wallet and your drawers. And some of y'all already over here opening drawers. That was funny when he was talking about that. All right. So anyway, okay, let's get to the main conversations. at hand. Okay, so we did meet, I think his name was Marvin, that's the dominatrix. He was talking to, I think, Eureka and some of the other ladies about it. He said he's a dominatrix and he writes erotic novels. Okay, he said when he has he teaches classes. When he has a lady friend come over, he turned his apartment to like a dominatrix place. You know, he just want to please her. Okay, so if y'all is into that dominatrix stuff, he might be the one for you. Okay, you know. Okay, so Eureka was intrigued. She wanted to know more. Okay. Now speaking of sex, let's just get on to Tranquilla. Is that her name? Taquilla. Y'all know I'm gonna mess up her name. I can't do it. All right, so she was talking to, I think it was Philip. I don't see it for Philip. I'm sorry, I don't see it for him at all. So she was talking to Philip, and they were talking about, he was asking her about, they got into the topic of self-care, I believe, and things like that, and meditation and spirituality. And he was like, are you more spiritual, religious? She said she a Christian, and she asked, okay, what you been talking about spirituality, Christianity, all that, where sex with that. She was like, basically like, you know, you like to wait till marriage, you want to try before you buy. He's like, oh yeah, I'm definitely trying before I buy, before I go to bed, before I go to work. He wants to have sex, okay? So she was cracking up about that. So she's like, really? Like, what's the craziest thing you ever done? Like, and he was like, where at? And she's like, any setting, wherever. He said the garage. She was, in her confession, she's like, I would not be doing that. There's rodents in there. There's nobody sweating out my hair. She ain't feeling that. So then somehow he got on topic of sex clubs. She was not feeling that. She was turned off. She was like, oh, we got to go mingle with other people, okay? I was like, girl, but you brought it up. You was the one. I didn't even know. To me, that conversation was a little weird for a mixer anyway, but that's the conversation y'all wanted to have, so there you have it. Okay. Then we did see Brandon. Now, let's get on the topic of Brandon. So, Janelle, all the guys were talking to Janelle. Red was talking to Janelle first, and he has 2 boys. Red is a comedian and the DJ. That's going to be important later. Pay attention. So, Janelle, she doesn't have any kids. She wants to be a boy mom. She's adopted, so she really wants to adopt. She said, you know, being adopted could possibly have some negative effects on her. Like sometimes when a guy leaves the room, she's like, oh my God, where are you going? She's like, maybe, you know, she need to work on that. I hope she didn't mean that for real. But, you know, kudos to her for wanting to, you know, stay involved in the adoption community in that way. That's pretty cool. So then Brandon came over there. Ray was like, you ain't finna sit next to me. So then, and the girl came over there. I think it was the girl with the boots. I'm not sure. But anyway, so they was asking like, okay, who got kids? You know, Ray got his 2. Brandon got 4. And they was like, 4? Okay, yeah, that's a little bit much. So then he was like, oh, you know, I was married from my wife. I was married. And then he was like, actually, I was married twice. They was like, what? They was like, well, how long ago were you married? He said 6 months ago. They was like, 6 months ago. And he was like, well, to be fair, like, I was married to my wife. We divorced, and then we remarried, and then we divorced again. So I don't know if he said the whole thing was 10 years total, or it was 10 years and then 3 years. Nevertheless, it's too much. Like, why are you remarrying your wife? What is going on? Like, some of the women were like, well, he fought for the relationship. He fought for his family. Great. Glad he did. It's giving very much indecisive, though. It's giving a little bit of game plan. Like, I don't know. I mean, you can look at it from both ways. I think it's good that he gave his family a second chance. At least he did that. That's the mother of his 4 children. But a lot of ladies were turned off by that, and I don't blame them. That's a lot of baggage, because obviously this woman has a hold on you, and that was your wife, and y'all were together a long time, so of course I would expect that. But yeah, I don't know, 6 months. He talked to Lee about it later on, and so she was like, are you sure you're ready to get back into it, like, you know, back into the dating game after, you know? But he's like, well, for me it's not exactly like that, because I've already been through divorce with this person. So like, for him, he's like, feeling like 6 months ain't that deep, because he didn't already been through it with her before and divorced her before. But to me, it's like, nah, you just trying to clean that up. Like, nevertheless, it's still been 6 months, and obviously this lady got a hold on you. If you double back, you spun the block on your wife, so obviously she meant something to you. And so then he was like, well, you know, you never know. I could go back to the, you know, the other way with it and just, you know, chill back and not really be trying to go after marriage and all that. And so she was like, what do you mean? Like, you could basically go, you know, back in the streets, like being a savage. And he's like, that's not what I said. She's like, well, what are you saying? Like, that's basically what you're saying. And then he's like, nah, I didn't mean it like that. And then she was like, well, like, how do I know that you're not going to want to just go back to being the single life and playing in these streets and stuff? She didn't use the words, but that's basically what she meant. And that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, he would want to be single and figure out who he is outside of that relationship. Like, I wouldn't trust it. I'm sorry, Brandon. I'm sure you're a nice man. You're going to find a woman that's going to love you and them 4 kids and your whole setup. But it's that lady, I don't think it's on Ready to Love Dallas. What do y'all think? Okay, would y'all date Brandon? Would y'all give Brandon a chance? Because I would not. 4 kids, that's 4 too many. Okay? 1 is pushing it at this point for me. But anyway. Okay, so that was the whole Brandon shocker, okay? Let's get to Red and, what was the girl's name? I think it's Eureka. So Eureka's like, I swear I know you from somewhere. I swear I know you from somewhere. So Eureka's just, or is her name Eureka or Unique? I think her name is Unique, and I'm calling this girl Eureka. Y'all, it's late and I'm tired, but I want to get this video done. Her name is Unique. So I should have did pictures with the names, but I didn't have time for that tonight. I'm sorry, y'all. But y'all can look it up online. I'm sure it's on the own website. So Unique was like, you know, Unique works in film and television and all that good stuff. So she's, you know, she feels like maybe she saw Red in the industry. Remember I told y'all he's a DJ and a comedian. And so he said, you know, he's a family man. He wants to be remarried and all that good stuff. She doesn't have kids. Unique doesn't have kids. And so he's like, yeah, like I want all those things, but you know, I'm stigmatized. The world tells me like my job, basically because the type of profession I'm in, that I can't be a family man and I can't be faithful and all that. And so she said, oh, that's because you got a thought job. And he was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you got a thought job. She basically saying like, Ray got all the groupies and the girls coming in his room and all this stuff. So that's why he can't be Mr. Faithful Family Man. Now, first of all, let me get on Unique. First of all, Unique, that was so out of pocket. Just because he's a comedian and a DJ don't mean he got a thought job. People was making jokes on Twitter, like naming different thought jobs. They said a warehouse worker is a thought job. It kind of is. No, I'm just kidding. No, but first of all, any job could be a thought job. People could say a teacher is a thought job. I don't know. But you know, it's the person, it ain't the job, first of all. Because there's people who are in entertainment that don't be in these streets. Now, they probably hard to find, but it's true. I think she just did not insult him in that way. But on the other hand, Red is not giving groupies for me. And I don't mean that with no shade or disrespect, but Red is not giving that he's getting all the groupies and the side chicks. I'm not getting that from Red. It's possible, okay, because Michael Blackson got groupies. So I'm sure Red will have some groupies as well. I'm just not getting that in this moment, though. But not to say that Red don't got his groupies, I won't take nothing from him. But I don't see groupies right now. But it's possible, okay? It's possible. Anyway, let me get off Red. We saw Janelle. A lot of the guys is liking Janelle. I like that Janelle's a full-figure girl. The other young lady, Aries, I believe was her name. She was also a full-figure girl. So we got some thicky thicks on this show, okay? And they are pulling the boys, so I was happy for that. To my men viewers, let me know what y'all think. And the women, let me know what y'all think of the women. I think all the women are pretty beautiful, for the most part, yeah. Some of their personalities could be, you know, leave a little bit to be desired. But they're beautiful. The men, there's some good looking men. Okay, let's just talk about it real quick. Chris, he's cute. Quentin, he is cute. Herbert is cute. Okay. Brandon, he Habi, no. Marie, not my type, but you know, he has some nice pretty hair though. I think that was it. I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but it don't matter right now. Anyway, back to the mixer. Okay, so speaking of Habi, let's talk about Habi. Habi, you're atrocious. You are atrocious, sir. So Habib said he's a saxophone player. We saw him talking to Sierra, I believe, and he was saying, like, you know, it's hard because his job, you know, to keep a woman, because his job, you know, he played the saxophone. His job is basically to make women smile. And Sierra was like, what you gotta do, get naked to do it? Like, what did you say? Like, he was putting a bunch on it. Like, you're playing the saxophone. Your job is to make your music and your sound like it's supposed to be and sound good. And your job ain't to make women smile because you play the saxophone. Like, you putting a whole lot on it, Habib. So she was like, "What, you supposed to be naked to do it or something?" And so he's like, "Oh, you know, it's a good idea to try that." So then later on, we saw him talking to the young lady with the boots on, right? And what her name is? What is her name? Kaya? I don't know. Like I said, they didn't introduce her, so I had to look her name up real quick. I know it was like Kaya, but anywho, so he was telling her, like, you know, it's really hard. You know, I play the saxophone and I have to travel the world, and, you know, people don't really understand that and all that. And so I believe he did connect with Sierra with that because Sierra travels for her work a lot as well. So anyway, he connected with Kyra because she's a dancer, so she's also on the stage entertaining people as well. And so he was like, "Oh, you a dancer? What, you been stripping, ballet?" She was like, "Stripping? Like, please. Like, why would you assume stripper?" Anyway, she was a cheerleader for the Dallas Cowboys. She been dancing her whole life. Okay. She was really feeling him. Most of the women weren't feeling him because they are, you know, smart. So, except for one, Taquilla. So, anyway, Habib was telling everybody how, you know, he went to Dubai and it was really fun until you, like, get out of Dubai, because that's when you can really have your fun. I heard that in Dubai you can't be, like, smoking and doing too much, or I don't know about the drinking, but I know you can't be, you know, you can't be doing too much in Dubai, I heard. But I don't know. Anyway, I haven't been, but I want to go. If y'all been to Dubai, though, let me know in the comments what you feel about Dubai when you went. So he was telling us in his confessional that, you know, he really, you know, went to a lot of Arabic culture places, and he really liked it. And he was telling one of the young ladies that they really enjoy his music out there, and it's a whole vibe, this whole thing. So he wears the I forgot what the piece is called, so forgive me. I'm not trying to insult anyone's culture. I just truly forgot what it's called. But the thing he wore on his head, and he just wears it because he really likes it. He likes the culture. He wears the culture in his heart. Now, in my mind, I'm like, isn't he culturally appropriating? Like, would y'all consider Habib culturally appropriating the Arabic culture? Or is he just showing his love for the culture? Y'all let me know, because sometimes, you know, some of y'all, you know, you want to pick and choose what is cultural appropriation and what is not. But for me, it was giving cultural appropriation. But was it giving that for y'all? I don't know. So he said he from Arlington, Texas, because I'm thinking, oh, maybe he like Muslim, maybe he from, you know, a Northeast African country or something. He talking about he from Arlington, Texas. Janelle said he from Western Fifth down there. He ain't from one of the Middle Eastern countries, and he not. So I was like, why are you wearing this thing on your head, sir? Why are you doing that? Like, just be you. Like, what are you doing? And it, Habib, you are, like Janelle said, you are here just to entertain us. Like, I cannot take Habib seriously. Not one bit. Like, take that thing off your head. You are African American. That is very nice. You appreciate their culture and all that. Maybe put some of their art in your house, or learn the language, or wear the thing when you in the country. But when you just walking around Dallas, Texas, we need you to be Habib from Arlington. That's what we need you to be. And like, what is your real name, Habib? Because it can't be Habib. That is not the name your mama gave you. You need to stop. So anyway, he just irritated me. So who else did we have? Leann. Girl, I knew you was getting eliminated first. Okay, so Leann, she's into the gym and all that. Leann over there asking everybody, what's your name, what's your sign? I just creep up from behind. Like, Leann, get off the signs. Y'all kill me with them signs. Like, granted, some of the things is true. I'm a Taurus, I'm stubborn, I'm bullheaded, all that. But that don't mean that's all of me and that's it. Like, that's no. She was just overdoing it, asking, what's his name, Herbert, all his signs and all that. He's all, you really into the astrology of it all. And she's like, no, I just, believe it a little bit. And then, so she was just like doing the rapid fire questions. So she was just coming on too strong. So then, Herbert was turned off of that. So then she sat down with Marie, right? And so we did see Marie tell, I believe it was Aries or one of the other young ladies earlier about his connection with his dad. So he's really, really close with his dad, and they showed some pictures. Really beautiful. He said that's where he gets his culture from, his manhood from, and all that. He had a son, and he couldn't really see, now see himself in his dad, and he wants to just raise his son to be special. And they showed like a father-son, grandfather pics. So cute. Love when men do those pictures. And he was tearing up in the confessional and everything. I was like, oh. So later on, we see Marie talking to Leann, right? Now, Leann had let us know earlier in her little confessional thing that, people think she's all serious, all business, but that's really not her. She's really into fitness. She liked to loosen up and have a good time. But we didn't get that version of you, Leann, at this mixer, and I'm sorry to say, girl. So Leann and Marie are sitting down talking, right? And so he said that, he really wants to find love and kind of like her get this process done, right? Like basically find someone and get someone in his life now while his son is young. Now what I don't want Marie to do, and I believe he's like 36 or 37, he look a little bit older though, is rush to find love because he's trying to hurry to do it while his son is young. He got to let things happen naturally, but I get what he means. Like he wants to do it while his son is still young, because the older kids get, the more disrespectful they gonna get, the more understanding they have. So they're gonna be like, oh, that's my dad's wife. That ain't my stepmama. So, and I wonder, is he trying to look for somebody to help him raise his son? I don't know. But I just want him to tread lightly with that. But that's good. He is looking for love, and he seems genuine. He really does seem genuine for sure. So he's telling Leann, because she's asking him, okay, what brought you to this process and all that. And he was saying, make a long story long, my dad passed away last year, and, he really meant a lot to me and all this stuff. And so Leann was sipping her drink. It was like, And Marie was just looking crazy, like, okay, when somebody say my dad passed away, when you say, oh yeah, my grandma passed away, they're like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, even if it's years ago, like people, like I say my grandma passed away in March 2019. So to me, that's been long enough. Like, I'm not expecting people to give me a bunch of sympathy or nothing. But people still say, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, that's a natural human response. Leann is up there like, okay. And so Marie is like, oh, so have you, what about your parents? Are they still living? Like, what's going on? And so she's like, oh yeah, they divorced, yep. She said, I had to put 2 dogs down, yep. And maybe they chopped the scene up, I don't know, but it just looked very tacky. She didn't give no kind of compassion. She didn't say, oh really? Like, at least if you don't say sorry to hear that, like, oh wow, really? Like, oh, like some kind of emotion, girl. So then he was very turned off by that. He was like, he wasn't feeling her. He left her, brought her a napkin. She up there, just standing up there eating. When I see Leann just standing up there eating, I said, oh, Leann is going home tonight, okay? Now, she might have got saved after she didn't have no compassion for Marie, but when I saw her standing up there eating and not mingling, I said, she going home tonight. Because the ones that just be sitting up there eating and not mingling, they always go home. That's just how it is on the Ready to Love. We don't got time to eat. We trying to find love, people. So anyway, we got through all that. And so then we touched on the main parts. Oh, not Brandon. What's the boy's name? Quentin and Lee. So Quentin and Lee were talking, and they have a lot in common. They're both into fitness and all that good stuff. I would love to work out with Quentin. He could be my personal trainer, okay? So she was talking about her last relationships, and she's just tired of the lying, the cheating, the deceiving, the heartbreaking. She really poured herself into her work, and now, she's trying to find love. Quentin said that it's hard for him to get in relationships because he always wants to get married. He has some kind of tattoo on his ring finger that matches his ex-girlfriend. And the reason why that relationship did not work is because he put himself on the back burner. You definitely can't do that, so I understand. Quentin said, no, Lisa, her mom's been married since she was 15. I'm like, damn. And then Quentin said his parents been married for 44 years. Grandparents been married for like 70 years. So, you know, he definitely wants to get married. He want to have like 3 kids. She want to have 2. They compromised to 2.5. However they worked it out, they gonna work it out. So nephew Tommy came at some point in the day, and he talked to the men about who they were feeling, not feeling. So everyone's liking the girl with the boots. No one else knew her name, so it wasn't just me. Nobody knew her name. Everybody's liking her. They didn't mention Janelle, but a lot of them did like Janelle. Aries, Lee, and I feel like there was one more other girl they liked, but I can't think of her name. Maybe Unique. So then they're not feeling Leann. Felt like forced conversations, and they're not feeling Taquilla. Felt like she was too conservative and all that. All right, so then we get down to the deliberations of it all, right? So nephew Tommy calls up Taquilla and Leann. Please come to the front. So they come to the front. So unfortunately, Leann gets sent home. We all saw it coming. We all knew it was going to happen. By Leann, I think Quentin or somebody said, see you at the gym. I was like, why is they saying that? But I forgot that Leann was into the fitness thing too. So anyway, so after eliminations, Taquilla up there crying her eyes out like, I don't know why I was in the bottom. Like the guy said, you know, a lot of them said they was feeling me, but then they want to eliminate me. Like, I don't see it. Like, I'm giving, like, I'm opening up, because nephew Tommy gave her the feedback of what the men said, that like, they see you trying to be open, but they gotta, you know, they gotta pull back the layers with you, so they don't know. So she's like, I just tried to give it my all. Oh my God. And I hate. Z did this last season too. And I'm sure the other girls have done it. I hate when they do this. When that second runner-up person that almost got eliminated the first day, they get to stay, they be so upset. That one girl did it in DC, Tanisha, I can't think of her name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. She was like, well, who wanted to eliminate me? Who wanted to eliminate? Like, y'all get to stay. Like, you don't need to come back with all the smoke and the fire. You show them. You don't tell them. When you get to stay, like, okay, I'm about to really, like, get this day popping, you know, in your mind. You ain't got to say nothing. And then you really, like, you know, rise above the situation. But all that crying and getting mad about who sent you home, and oh, she was for real having a breakdown. I was like, girl, now I get it. It's hard to get, you know, criticism and all that, constructive criticism, and you think you're doing your best and really opening up to get to know people, and people are saying you're not. So I understand that's probably hard and hard to deal with, but please don't sit there upset about it. Like, they just, like, Z last season got so defeated when she almost got eliminated. Like, they just get so defeated, and I'm like, you got to stay. Like, make the most of it. Forget all that. You got through the hard part. Now, come on, show us who you really are then. Show us why we kept you. That's what I say. But anyway, she cried her eyes out to Maria. He gave her words of encouragement and helped her out, so that was good. Okay, then we saw some great conversations between Herbert and Janelle. Now, production. It was daytime when Janelle and Herbert started talking, and then they like cut the scene. Next thing we know, it was nighttime. Okay, so these had to be 2 different conversations, because it wasn't like the sun was setting. It was like day and night, literally. So anyway, I noticed that. Y'all noticed that. So they were talking about you know, marriage and kids and the future, and he was looking at her hand, and he was like, oh, like, make sure she had a ring on her finger, because I guess she had one near the finger or something like that. I don't know. I used to actually wear more rings than this, and I think I used to wear a ring on, I forgot which hand, but people used to always be thinking I was married and all that, so I had to switch my rings up and take some of them off. But anyway, so I related to her with that. So anyway, they had a really good vibe and connection. She said it talk with him was really, really easy. And she was like, oh yeah, you like it. He's like, don't be putting words in my mouth and all that. So they had a good conversation. I could see them two working something out. Although it looks like later on in the season, Janelle's gonna be in a bunch of drama. So I don't know. Anyway, now Taquilla almost got eliminated. So Habi, he slid all up over there, slithered over there. He was like, oh man, when I seen you in the bottom two, I was like, oh no, they don't really know her like that. No. And he was like, you know, people got to really get to know you and all this stuff. When he was doing all that, I already knew he was running game. He trying to secure his spot on the show. Now, when he was up, oh no, we're going to get to him because we didn't get to the male's elimination yet. Let me not skip ahead. So anyway, he was like asking her, well, she was saying it just reminded her of her last relationship because the guy she was with before, he was cheated on before, and he transferred that negative energy to her and their relationship. I don't know what that had to do with the elimination. Maybe it was chopped up or something. I don't know. So anyway, he was like, oh, you know, if you was with that guy, would you cheat with me? And she was like, yeah, like whatever you want to do, I'm with it. And she said she likes that he has all these deep conversations and he keeps her interested. And I was like, girl, he is not having no deep conversation at all. What's deep about Habi? Nothing is deep. Nothing is deep about Habi. Anyway, he had also asked one of the other ladies about cheating earlier. Talking about, oh, would you cheat on me with one of the guys here or something? Or would you cheat with me on one of these guys? Something stupid. I was like, why he asking all the women about cheating? Like, he want to be boyfriend number two? Like, I just don't get it. Habib, I don't have the time, sir. I don't have the time. Anywho, that was like the main conversation. Like I said, we already touched on Brandon and Lee, and I think that was after the women deliberated. So let's get on to the women discussing who should go home for the men. Okay, so let's see who they like. They like Quentin. I think they liked Philip. They liked Herbert, of course, and Chris. One of the ladies said he's a little young, but they have some things in common. Who they don't like, Habib. A lot of women don't like Habib. They don't like Brandon. They feel like too much baggage. Aries is like, well, I like that he fought for his woman, like for his, family and all that. So the woman is like, no, Habib is here to entertain us. Like, he is not talking about anything. Sierra was like, he was too aggressive on my line. Like, he was doing too much. So then, Taquilla gonna pipe up and say, oh, no, I'm fighting for that one. Like, he really just, is so deep and he's this and he's that. And the girls was like, girl. And they was like, nah, we don't see it, girl. We don't see it, sis. She's like, oh, I guess people just don't want that kind of love anymore. Like, what kind of love, girl? Habib don't love you and he won't. Like, girl, what are you talking about? So anyway, nephew Tommy gathers everybody together. The women are cold because they got on all the men's jackets. It looked cold out there. It couldn't be me. I would have been, I don't do the cold. So he was like, ladies had deliberated. Can Brandon and Habib come to the front? So Brandon, he started shedding that tear like from the movie Glory with Denzel Washington. He was shedding that one tear because he didn't want to go home on the first day. I said, goodbye, Brandon. You're still going home. Habib, he was, and his confession gonna say, I have a story to tell. I got a lot to say. You don't never know what's gonna come out of my mouth, so they're gonna want to keep me here. It's giving very much, I want to be on TV. I think Habib is going to get eliminated and Brandon gets to stay. Because it seemed like we did see Brandon in the preview, but I could be wrong about that. Y'all let me know, who do y'all think should go home, Habib or Brandon? That's a tough one for me. I would rather Habib go than Brandon. Like, we could try to work through the family stuff with Brandon. Like, Habib, we can't work through that pile of SHIT that he's serving. So that's just my opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Stay with me on this Ready to Love journey, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow about the love and marriage, Huntsville, and the Detroit. All right, good night, and bye.